Welcome. I'm down by the river this evening to give you a tour of my latest acquisition, this Chevy van. I bought this from Pick and Pull Junkyard in Redding, California. I couldn't resist. I never considered myself a Chevy person. Thought I was a Volkswagen person and a Ford person, but really I like old diesels. And this is a 1984 diesel Chevy van that I guess I saved from the crusher. So here we are down by the river, so I can tell you all about it. Most of what's been done to it was done by the previous owners. I've done a couple of things, including getting it re-registered from being junked. Didn't have to do much. It was really in pretty good shape, which is why I just couldn't resist this thing. Thanks to Perry's Automotive for doing the comprehensive safety inspection on it and alignment. The only thing I really had to replace was the steering linkage. So it has new tie rods, idler arm, pitman arm, and repacked the wheel bearings, and then they gave it an alignment. And all of the lights work, seat belts, all safety features have to work to bring back a junk car in California these days. Check out that chrome. That's one of the first things I noticed about this van. And it's overall pretty straight. The paint job is nothing to write home about, other than, you know, there's something to be said for a paint job that isn't so nice that you have to worry about scratching it up all the time. So perfect for driving down by the river. Came with good tires. They're not new, but they passed the safety inspection, have lots of tread left. Got a little mud on here driving down. This thing is mostly stock and original. A lot of these vans have been decked out. I mean, who can resist? The biggest modification on this van that I can tell is this swamp cooler, which works. It's got this pump, and there's a fan in there, and you can operate that without the van running for hanging out in here in the summer, I guess. Oh yeah, check out the awesome carpeting, right? But I mean, that's so 80s van, right? I don't know how old this carpeting is. It seems pretty old. And bluish. I like that they didn't cut up the dash or do anything too crazy up here. I mean, the cup holders aren't great, but they're original. Simple gray dash. Original gauges all work. It's got oil pressure, voltage, water temp, no air conditioning, but hey, it's got a swamp cooler. These are the swamp cooler switches for fan and pump. You just give it a little bit of water with the pump and just run the fan all the time. The glow plug is on this push button, and it shows on the original light when you turn it on. This switch is for an electric fuel pump that's been added on. That's another little mod. But that's on the ignition, so you just basically leave it on all the time. It'll only come on when the ignition is on. This radio, I'm glad they didn't cut up the dash. This is a retro sound radio, so it's actually digital. Although it looks like an old AM. You see it says aux too. It's got 3.5 millimeter plug-in. No Bluetooth. The radio works really well, and the auxiliary works okay. The back is just open. I guess it came this way. There's a build sheet that underneath this panel, and it tells me things like this came with original factory tint. That's what that is. It's very dark. Factory tinted rear windows in good shape. The rears are pop outs. If you're not familiar with these vans, so it has these limiters that are like a strap, and then there's a pin. This is the bottle of water for the swamp cooler. You could, I rigged that up. You could probably use just about anything. So normally it's limited like that, but if you want, you just take the pin out and then you can open it the rest of the way. It never seems to open enough to hit the body. So I've installed all new door seals all around. Oddly enough, this vehicle came with new door seals, like just in the vehicle, and some other spare parts. Like somebody was building it. And I wish I knew the story of how it ended up in a junkyard in like really great running condition. There's some indications that it spent some time in Washington State. I don't know if it'll show up, but you can sort of see the I-90 Ski-Doo in Issaquah, Washington. And there's another sticker inside, a partial sticker from Linwood, Washington. And it seems like maybe somebody decked this out for hauling ATVs. It's got a 7-pin and an add-on draw-tight tow package, which is really pretty nice. That's not original. Chrome bumpers are really in pretty good shape. The rear one, they may have been running like snowmobiles or ATVs over them. It's a little dented, but really the whole thing, it's got some dents and stuff, but I find it really kind of endearing in a rat rod kind of way. Lots of ground clearance. It's just a 2-wheel drive, but plenty of clearance, and I think it's the shortest wheelbase that they sold for these things. You know, no windows on this side, pretty basic. Locking gas cap. Yeah, all of the locks work great. All the doors in good working shape. It's got, I guess this was standard back in the day, it's got a different key for the ignition and for the locks, and then there's a third key that does the locking gas cap. The tires are the original size, 235, 75, 15, but the wheels are some kind of aftermarket Baja wheel. I don't think those are the original wheels. And I'm thinking that maybe the offset is different. So it's like they stick out pretty far, like almost past the fender, which I think actually looks kind of good, at least on this van. You know, they did the top in white, And then originally it was a metallic blue, and now it's this matte blue. It's not a great paint job. I mean, they just went right over all these old chips, but it's sealed up, and the whole thing has no rust whatsoever, or maybe the slightest bits of surface rust on the top, but underneath it really looks pretty good. It's got this dual exhaust system. I'm not sure if that's original or not, but that's in great shape. I believe that the automatic transmission has been rebuilt because it's so clean and nicely painted. Like, I probably did a better job painting the transmission. You can see there it says 1122, and my guess is that this transmission was rebuilt in November of 2022. The odometer shows 15,000 miles. And in working on the front end, so I had to replace the steering linkage. The brakes have been replaced recently. You know, I didn't have to do anything there other than front brake hoses. I went ahead and replaced the pins and the bleeder screw on the front calipers and replaced the fluid while I was doing the front hoses. But the most interesting thing is that the ball joints on the control arms appear to be original equipment, and they don't have any play, so they weren't required to be replaced. You can tell that the bushings on the control arms are also original, but also those didn't have to be replaced at this time. So, but to me, the original ball joints, and I can tell they're original because they're riveted through. If you replace them, they would be bolted on, but they're riveted, which makes them original equipment. So 15,000 miles, I doubt that, but 115 seems likely rather than say 215, because I don't think you would make it to 215 without replacing the ball joints. Oh, let's look under the hood. Yeah, the brakes on this thing are really amazing. I've never had a vehicle with this braking system before. This is a power brake booster that seems to work off of the power steering fluid. It's a hydraulic type booster, and then there's your master cylinder. So I'm unfamiliar with this. I've never had a master cylinder that you couldn't see the fluid either, but I'm getting used to this thing. This is my adaptation. It was missing which I guess you might call the cold air intake. There should be a tube that goes to here. So hey, I put one on there so it's not taking air from the top of the engine. This is a modification, and I didn't do this. This probably came at the same time as the electric fuel pump, but this is an oversized fuel filter water separator, which is nice. You can see in it. That's kind of an improvement, it seems, over from what I can understand the original system. This thing does really well holding all its fluids. I think that the alternator was replaced at some point. I had to tighten the belts up, but they're actually, the V-belts are in pretty good shape. So, also, one of the things I fell in love with this van right away is it came with Optima yellow top batteries. There's two of these, and these vans, if you're not familiar with them, are kind of weird. The reason that there's two wires off of each one. There's a second battery, which is also an Optima yellow top, hiding underneath in this box. Weird, but it works. It's like $600 worth of batteries. So plenty of power to run your swamp cooler while you're hanging out down by the river. I think if I end up keeping the van long term, I might add a solar panel. I actually think that maybe on its way to the junkyard, a couple of things came off of it. You see these, whatever those are, I don't know whether it was welded on or what was there, but I think there was a solar panel here, which would be the ideal add-on to be able to just run this all day, either down by the river, or this van would be great, especially with its tow package. If you wanted to have a booth at a flea market or a farmer's market and go park this thing out in the sun all day. If you add a solar panel to this, you could be running this swamp cooler all day. Either keep your vegetables cool or yourself just hanging out in it. Also, it doesn't have a brake controller, but I think it has the wiring for the brake controller. So I think somebody was like, well, I don't want to deal with this thing. It's weird. It's a diesel. We're sending it to the junkyard, but I'm going to snip this off and take this brake controller, and I'm going to take this solar panel. So those things are kind of missing, but still pretty neat, all just the way it is. Another little personal touch, it was missing the Chevy symbol, but looking around, notice that one of the things that's available is just a decal, and I think I put this German flag on upside down, but still, I kind of dig that. I kind of like the colors with it, and it's just something, it's just temporary, but I kind of like it. I think that's all I can think to tell you about it, other than really everything works. I mean, and it has to, because if you're not familiar with it, it's not just brakes and lamps anymore. I didn't know that. When you buy from a dismantler, not only do you have a salvage title, but you have to prove that every safety feature that's original to the car. So if you get a newer one, you know, airbags have to work, etc. Did I mention, at least I don't have to deal with smog either. That's one of the things I like about the old diesels in California. This is a 1984, so what I didn't have to do was smog it. It's smog exempt forever. I know some people would like that for like a swap, but for me, I like it just the way it is. I think it's way cool. The dogs like it too. They really like the captain's seats. Yeah, a lot of these vans have been decked out with fancy seats you can get. You know, they made camper versions, and you can get seats that swivel, turn around and such. People do that and put all kinds of plush things in here, and it could use a headliner in the front, but hey, it's not bad just the way it is. Great for tall folks. The interior lighting, these are very bright, a couple of LEDs. The only thing is they only come on when the driver door is open. So if I'm going to keep this long term, I'll put those on a switch. You know, I could use this thing to be kind of fun with the tow package. I could see myself taking my Volkswagens to car shows behind this thing. It doesn't have a turbo. It's a 6.2 liter naturally aspirated diesel, IDI. That's one of the other things I love about the old ones. And look at all these smog exempt. No computer BS. I just went through my last project before this one. Is I got a great deal on a 2013 Jetta, which ran great, but the only problem was it would throw check engine lights related to the DPF. So first I'm like, oh, I can do that. I'll clean that DPF. I took the DPF off, cleaned it, made no difference. And that's why I got a good deal on it. And I'm not the only one. All of these aging last generation Volkswagen diesels, they would probably run forever, but what they won't do is pass smog forever. This will, because it doesn't have to. Being a van, it is a little weird, like to get to the engine compartment. This is it. This is what they call the doghouse. You take off the center console, and you still don't have very much access. You saw you can't get to much in the hood. But it's an 8-cylinder, 6.2 liter, naturally aspirated. I think it's got lots of power, but I haven't really hauled anything with it. It's just been, you know, but when it's empty, it climbs hills pretty well. Accelerates perfectly acceptable for me, but I'm used to driving old Volkswagen diesels, or even one with a TDI with, say, a turbo on it. It's just pretty comparable, at least in its empty form.